Hello to you Shadow Priest out there. So, Season 1 of Dragonflight has started today, and I wanted to make a quick guide going over the talents because that's the #1 question I get asked. And I'm going to go over 2 spec builds that I like to play. Starting with #1, the Mindbender build. So, a lot of people were complaining, non-priest players, saying that this was an overpowered build. But I feel like it's been out long enough, there's a lot of counterplay available, right? So, #1, you just kill the Mindbender. #2, you kite the priest, you run, you line of sight, they can't mind blast you, the Mindbender does no damage. So, there's a lot of counterplay to the Mindbender build. And a lot of people are starting to realize it, so it's not as good as people think. And obviously, Mindbender did not get nerfed with these new patch notes that came out today. So I think Blizzard realizes that there's a lot of counterplay to the build. And like I just said, you just kill the Mindbender, right? So starting off, we're gonna take our Shadow Fiend. I mean, you get it regardless. It's a free talent. Take Shadow or Death, of course. You're gonna take Death and Madness. Take Mind Control, of course. Take Phantasm. Activating Fade removes all your snares. Take Psychic Voice, reduces the cooldown on your fear. A must-have. Dispel Magic. Improved Flash Heal, 15% more on Flash Heal. It's a must-have. I like to play it from Darkness Comes Light. Your Shadow Word Pain damage stacks up your next Flash Heal. I like to play with Angelic Feather in Battlegrounds, very useful. I like to stack that with Body and Soul, so whenever I bubble myself or a partner, they get a little speed boost. Of course, run Leap of Faith, you kind of need that for any ranked PvP. Mass Dispel, no explanation needed there, that's a given. Improved Mass Dispel. Twins of the Sun Priestess. So, if you're greedy and you don't want to PI your partner, I guess you could not run it. But obviously, if you're doing arena, it's kind of a must-have. Like if you're doing battlegrounds, I mean, you could get away with not running this, but you're probably gonna piss some people off. They're gonna be asking you for a PI, so I'd say run this talent. Twist of Fate. I like to spec into this. It's 10% increased damage when you damage something below 35% health. This is a battleground talent. I probably won't run this in arena. But, I like playing Halo and Battlegrounds. If you guys watch my videos, you know I'm a Battleground player. I mean, I'm going to do Arena when the new season comes out this weekend, because I work all week, but, you get what I'm saying. I like to run with Crystalline Reflection, only because I can spec into Angelic Bulwark. So that gives Shadow Priest a little bit more tanky ability. This procs, it can't happen again for 90 seconds, so if you're doing arena, you want to make sure you practice at the right time. You don't want to practice too early because after they see it proc, they know you don't have it again for 90 seconds and you're going to get tunneled most likely. Translucent Image. Whenever you fade, it reduces the damage you take by 10%. This is a must-have. It's kind of like when rogues press Feint. You want to press this every cooldown, pretty much. Mind Games, of course, gotta have the Mind Games. Manipulation reduces the cooldown of your Mind Games for every Mind Blast and Mind Spike. And Shattered Perceptions. Just pretty much increases your Mind Games healing and damage and makes the debuff last 2 seconds longer. Alright, so let's look into our shadow points now. You get Devouring Plague, of course, Shadowy Apparitions, Dispersion, Silence, all must-haves. I like to run Psychic Core. Depending on your comp, you can run Last Word, but 95.72% of the time it's going to be Psychic Core. I like to run Misery. It's really useful for avoiding extra global cooldowns to put Shadow or Pain on your targets. I like to run Intangibility. The added healing from Dispersion is really nice. Of course, you gotta have Coalescing Shadows if you're gonna play with the Mindbender build because, where is it at? This is Puppet Master. When you summon your Mindbender, you get Coalescing Shadows. So these two go together. I like to run a Dark Ascension. when you pop your Mindbender, you pop Dark Ascension, pop your PI, really big burst damage windows. I'll show you guys in a minute. Unfurling Darkness, gotta have it. Very nice talent to have, multi-dot people very quickly. Shadow Crash, must have in PvP, especially Battlegrounds. Surge of Darkness, you want to get those Mind Spike procs. Mind Melt, increases your crit chance by Mind Blast every time you Mind Spike. And Auspicious Spirits or Tormented Spirits, you can run either or, but I kind of like the Auspicious Spirits more. This is better for like a dot build, and I'll go over that in the next build. Shadowy Insight just gives you a chance to get an instant cast Mind Blast. And for the Mindbender spec, you're going to be running Death Speaker, because when you summon your Mindbender, every time you Mind Blast and Shadow or Death, your Mindbender does extra damage with this talent, Inescapable Torment. So then you take your Idol of Yasiraj. You want to fear the target, then summon your Mindbender on the feared target. So it's kind of hard to do sometimes, especially in Battlegrounds. You want to make sure you fear a target nobody's on, because the fear is going to break instantly most of the time, and you won't be able to get your 15% feared debuff, which will give you 15% increased damage. So definitely use your fear on a target nobody's on, and you're going to have to be quick too, because most of the time, I'm not going to lie, in the global cooldown it takes to summon your Mindbender or fear, it either trinket or it breaks of damage, and you won't get your 15% damage. So it's kind of unfortunate. You got to be very careful. And if you don't get your 15% damage, you still get 5%. It's, you know, not the end of the world. Most of the time you're going to get 5%. In Arena, you should try to get the 15% still, right? And then we're going to take Pain and Death, increases your Shadow or Death damage by 25%, and it does spread AoE death damage to all your dotted targets. So that's a must-have. Encroaching Shadows, I like to run with this. It's just more direct damage on Devouring Plague. And I like to run Damnation. If you run Void Torrent, it's a hard talent to make work. Like, you're a Shadow Priest, you're a kill target, you're going to get tunneled, it's going to be melee all up on you. You're not going to really have a lot of windows to get Void Torrents off. This is just more reliable. I'm a Damnation fan all the way. I'm sorry for you Void Torrent fans out there, but I love Damnation. And then I spec 1 into Malediction, so pretty much gives me a 45-second cooldown on Damnation. And for the talents, we're going to go with Siphoned. It's a must-have for, you know, Arena. You could switch it out in Battlegrounds, but I'd still keep it in both scenarios. Catharsis. This is just nutty burst damage. You're a Shadow Priest, you're going to get stunned, you're going to get tunneled by melee, they're going to be pumping you. You come out of that stun, you put your Shadow Word Pain up, your Catharsis procs, you're hitting in for a lot of damage. So this is a nice talent to have. I would definitely spec into it every time. And then if you're going to be running the Mindbender build, you definitely want to take Eternal's Rest. So it reduces your cooldown on Shadow Word Death by 12 seconds. And I'll show you guys a little example real quick. So let's just say here's a group. Oh, that's healing. There we go. Let's just say this is a group of Alliance and a Battleground or Horde, whatever faction you play. So this is the rotation pretty much. You could, you know, this is optional, but you can PI yourself, fear the target, and you can Dark Ascension first, then boom, 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 throw in a Shadow Crash, get your Devouring Plagues up, the Mind Spikes up, throw in a little Mind Games, why not? So you see I'm up to 90k damage, I'm just pumping. Obviously, these are target dummies, and you're not going to be doing 90k in ranked PvP most of the time, but you guys get the general idea. You want to fear, possibly get your Power Infusion up and your Dark Ascension up, then fear, then summon your Mindbender, and then you get your 15% damage, and then pop off. get those Mind Blasts on cooldown, Shadow Word Death on cooldown. You get a proc to reset your Shadow Word Death cooldown, use it instantly no matter what health they're at. So you're going to be pumping, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Alright, let me show you guys the next build. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys this build. I call it the Flay and Rot build. So this build is very good for battlegrounds, ranked battlegrounds, random battlegrounds, epic battlegrounds. You could possibly do this in arena, but I feel like the Mindbender build is going to be better in arena. So this is another viable option. I love this spec, it's really fun, it does immense amount of damage. So you're going to take close to the same amount of talents in the priest tree from the last spec I just showed you guys. But on the shadow tree, you're going to take Malediction. Malediction right there reduces the cooldown on Damnation by 30 seconds. Of course, you're going to take Damnation. And then you'll take Idol of N'Zoth. So Idol of N'Zoth pretty much gives another dot to your target. And if a target dies, it blows up and deals AoE damage to all your targets around. So it's really good for battlegrounds. I'm not going to lie, it doesn't hit that hard. But it's just another dot to route them with, you know. And secondly, I like to go into Mind Flay Insanity. It just hits way harder than a regular Mind Flay and gives you a lot of insanity back. And you take Screams of the Void. Your dots tick 80% faster. And then take Idol of C'Thun. So this talent, it's kind of a PvE talent, I'm not gonna lie, but hear me out. When this thing procs, it does hella damage. Like the tendril that comes out of Idol of C'Thun, like it does a lot of damage. Like it's gonna be your top damage if you get them to proc a lot. The main issue with it is that you need to cast a lot of Mind Flays for it to proc. So that's easier said than done in PvP, right? You're gonna have a DK on you, you're gonna have a warrior on you, you're gonna have to juke kicks. It's gonna be hard to get full channeled Mind Flays. So when you're able to free cast, it's really good. You know, they're on other targets, you're sitting in the back, you're getting those Mind Flays off, you get a tendril, one or two of them to proc, they're gonna be dealing a lot of damage. Now the proc rate on them is not that good. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's probably 10% of the time it'll proc off a Mind Flay. It's not high. But when they do proc, like I was saying, it does a hell of a lot of damage. So with this spec, you probably can get rid of Eternal's Rest and take Void Volley. So every time you pop your Dark Ascension, you know, you rain down Void Volleys on everybody. So, you know, massive damage there, massive disruption. So this is the second build. And it's really fun. It's a lot of damage. And with that being said, let's go over the stats now. Alright, so stats. This season, I think the main stat will be haste, just as the same as last season. There might be some other builds that pop up, maybe a crit or a mastery build. But people always ask me, oh, why don't you go full mastery? Because full mastery requires all three of your dots to be on a target, and then you deal direct damage to that target. That's an ideal PvE situation. Yeah, you should go maybe full mastery in PvE. In PvP, you're not going to have those situations where everything's triple dotted and you can do direct damage. That's why I don't think mastery is that good in PvP. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but you know, what the hell did I know, right? And then secondly, crit. Crit could be good, but I think haste is just the most beneficial. So you want to be able to get your dots up very quick. You want them to tick faster. You want them to reduce your global cooldown. You're a Shadow Priest. You're going to get focused. You're a kill target. Haste is the most beneficial. Between stuns, between CCs, you get your Vampiric Touches back up on targets. You get that Insanity to regenerate faster for dot ticks. I do believe that haste first is the stats to go for this season at least. So the most common question I get on my YouTube comments is, what add-ons do I have? So I will show you guys those right now. So I have Announce Interrupts. It'll just tell the people around me what I interrupted on an enemy player with my silence. I have Battleground enemies, which I only really use in rated battlegrounds. I don't use it in like casual battlegrounds. BigDebuffs. It'll pretty much show you major cooldowns on the portrait of your enemies. So It's really nice to have. Like when a warrior pops avatar, you'll be able to see it right there on their portrait. I'm on the realm called Illidan, which is like a bunch of Chinese bots on there, so I got the add-on block Chinese. ClassicNumbers, it just changes the font of the damage I do. A lot of you ask what that add-on is. You know, pretty lightweight, simple add-on. Of course, you guys all know about details. Gladius doesn't seem to be working right now in this expansion, so I might upgrade that add-on to another PvP arena frame add-on soon. OmniBar, probably the most important probably the most important add-on to have as a Shadow Priest, because it shows you your enemy's cooldowns. So mainly interrupts. So when a warrior's on you and they use their kick, a rogue, a demon hunter, it'll show down here or wherever you put your anchor. And it's a must-have for Shadow Priest. So you want to get good at juking melee interrupts, and OmniBar will help you dramatically. It'll show you when they use their interrupt, and it'll let you know if you successfully juked a cast or a kick or not. So OmniCC, it just shows cooldown count on your abilities. It's kind of an unnecessary add-on because Blizzard now has that feature in the game. And then what else do we have? Threat plates. A lot of people ask me what nameplates do I use, and it's threat plates pretty much. It'll show you what you can dispel. Most of the people watching my videos like this add-on. A few of them hate it. Like one guy the other day said, my threat plates add-on almost gave them a seizure. Yeah, it's a bit dramatic, but most of the time people like this add-on, threat plates. So just so you guys know. Trufi global cooldown. It'll show you what abilities I use down here. Like I bubble myself, it'll show me a bubble. I PI myself, shows it down there. And that's just for you guys watching the videos, so you can know like what buttons I press when I'm doing PvP. It's not really useful for anything else, I guess. WeakAuras. Probably every PvPer, even PvEer, should have this add-on already. Daily boss mods, and that's pretty much it. So WeakAuras, I use 2 WeakAuras. For some reason, when Dragonflight came out, it doesn't show you that you have Devouring Plague procs anymore. Like, let me get the 50 Insanity real quick. Hey, look at my Tendril props. Okay, so it's not flashing right now. It should flash. In the other expansion, Shadowlands, your Devouring Plagues would proc and flash when you get 50 Insanity. It doesn't anymore in this expansion for some reason, so I got the WeakAura that'll remind me that I can use a Devouring Plague. And I'll have that WeakAura down in the description of this video. The second WeakAura I use is the Catharsis WeakAura. It's a very simple, light WeakAura, and I'll also have that one down in the description below. Alright, so to end this video off, I'm going to show you guys my macros. So this is a Void Shift macro. It'll pretty much swap health with your partner. If you're doing 2s, it's party 1 will swap with your 2nd raid frame. Party 2 will swap with your 3rd raid frame, and vice versa. So if you're doing 3s, you can change that number out. Party 1, party 2. Angelic Feather. It's a simple cursor macro, show tooltip, and then cast Angelic Feather wherever your cursor is. So I have my cursor right in front of me. I hit my Angelic Feather right in front of me. I don't have that annoying green circle when I have to click it. That's just a waste of time if you have a green circle out. You want to be able to quickly put down a feather. That's what I have it for. And then I have the good old-fashioned BM Trinket and Desperate Prayer macro. And then Mass Dispel macro, another cursor macro. So you can end the Mass Dispel very quickly and accurately. So I want to Mass Dispel that dragon right there. Boom. Simple. So it cuts out the green circle, reducing your time wasted. Very quick response. Another cursor macro. Cursor macros are your friend as a Shadow Priest. And pretty much my last macro I use is the same as Mass Dispel macro, except with Shadow Crash. So Shadow Crash is a very useful ability in Dragonflight. Pretty much always want this on cooldown. And for instance, let's see. Alright, we have a bunch of people right there. Boom, drop a Shadow Crash on them with my cursor. Instantly, right away. So, another cursor macro. And I'll have all these macros in the description of the video, so you guys can easily just copy, paste, and start using them. Alright, with that being said, that is the quick guide for Season 1. I hope you guys have fun this season, and good luck to you all. And I want to thank everybody who subbed. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers. That's insane. The reason why I keep making videos is because you guys keep subbing. If you guys didn't sub, I will not make videos. So I appreciate you guys watching. Have any questions, put them in the comments. I will respond. It might take me a day or two because I work a day job, and you know how it is. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the subs. Thank you for all the support, and I appreciate you all. And before I go, just remember one thing: let the void consume you. Alright, till next time, guys.